Okay, I've got a little bit of an update about our Long Branch Star Parties, which is a new thing that we're doing for city star parties, and also some planetary puzzles, which in this case does not include how do I observe them. First, I would just want to hit what's happening at the Long Branch Star Parties because they are a new thing. We went ahead in July and August, and we were clouded out in September. To be honest, the August one was very marginal. We barely could see Saturn, but we did see Saturn. We're getting both Toronto Centre and Mississauga Centre members coming out there, and Mississauga Centre may actually help out from time to time for hosting. So it's kind of nice to have the two centres working together, in my opinion. Despite the lack of advertising publicity, we're getting quite a few non-members coming. The park is actually fairly busy by fairly well used by local residents, but we also had, in August, we had someone come from Liberty Village to talk to us about dark sky sites and other topics like that. So word is getting out despite the lack of advertising. Interestingly enough, in the July one, someone actually came by with his 8-inch, I think it was, Dobsonian, and he was just going to observe. He didn't even know we were going to be there, and we looked through his telescope and told him, oh boy, you really need collimation. In the August star party, a woman said, I bought this telescope for my kids 2 years ago, and I never managed to make it to use it. And it was like a 4.5-inch department store reflector. When we put an eyepiece in it and finally figured out where the focus was, the image of Saturn was actually pretty good. So we said, it works, except your eyepieces are like $2 plastic thingamabobs, and that's like the first thing you would replace, but your telescope does work. So we're getting all these people coming out, and maybe they will become members or become more interested. So it's really working as an unofficial outreach event, and we're not going to make it an official outreach event. But it really, if you like talking to members of the public, that's great, because honestly, it's still a city star party. You're not going to complete your Herschel 400 list from Long Branch or Bayview Park. The number of your targets that you can use is fairly limited, but they're the targets that people will like, and Jupiter and Saturn are going to be in the skies for the next few months. So it's a lot of views that you're getting from kids and retirees and everyone in between. So for our next event, we're going to try to do it in the first clear night of October 14th, 15th, or the 21st, 22nd. We have to straighten out some wrinkles in the go, no-go call because we're still new at this, but we'll figure it out. So that's pretty much the Long Branch Star Party update. Oops. Okay, so when you're puzzled by planets, I'm not talking about what has NASA found. I'm talking about actually a puzzle. A while ago, I stopped by a local hardware store and they had these things. So I said, well, why not? So if the camera wants to put it on here, here's the actual box. Nice box. Maybe it'll fall over, add a little bit of drama to the presentation. There are only 8 planets in this puzzle, which puzzles me a little bit because don't ask me about Pluto. Oops, again. So I took it to the cottage when I was visiting a friend. I thought the weather might be kind of not so great. And 2,000 pieces is a lot of pieces. We put it out on the main table, which is quite a large table. And we realized that each planet is kind of a different color and shape. They're all kind of separate. It's not like one big piece that has 8 planets. It's 8 separate planets. So we started separating things out by, I think this is this planet, and I think this might be that planet. So off we went. Whoops. I'm going to figure this out. So you can either kind of look at it and go, oh, this is like way too much. I think I'm going to have a beer. Or you can kind of persevere. My friend gave up, and he's a big fan of Ernest Shackleton and read all about his voyage in the rowboat for like 1,500 kilometers in the South Atlantic, but he gave up. But I said, the heck, I've got to figure something out here, because now we have taken over the kitchen table, and let's see what we can actually do with this. So I said, we're going to start working on a planet. And what planet would I work on first? And I think anyone who reads my postings on our forum know what planet I would choose. Anyone want to yell it out? Mercury, you bet. It's also the smallest planet, and I think they come in different sizes. So I said I would start with the smallest planet, and it actually, as you can see in the picture there, it's like a partially assembled Mercury. It actually fits on their sheet. It's about the same size as Jupiter on the image sheet. Unfortunately, the image of Mercury on that sheet is so small you can't make out any details. So I'm going, like, it's a bunch of gray pieces, and there are other gray pieces, there are other like dark pieces. One thing I will say, if you're trying to put this puzzle together, I was doing it under LED lights, which were supposedly white and probably fairly good, but you probably want the best color rendition possible because the colors are very subtle and you're trying to separate out 8 different planets. And is that kind of a beigey gray, or is that a purplish gray, or is that a grayish gray? And I found it was pretty tough to figure that one out. And Mercury, in fact, is a lot of gray pieces. So anyway, it was divide and conquer, and after a couple of days we realized of eating outside on the picnic table, I realized that I had to pretty much fish or cut bait, as they say in the... So I started putting away all the planets except the pieces that could possibly be Mercury, and eventually, like, you're down to a few pieces, and the piece that you tried 6 times and said, no, this doesn't actually fit anywhere, suddenly fits. It's pretty inexplicable. And so I will show people what I have. And this is, this, by the way, is like what your 2,000 pieces or almost 2,000 pieces are. And in here, I don't know whether we can focus on it or whether we want to take it in. This is the Mercury that I actually put together. It is missing one edge piece. And I just went through all the edge pieces and going, nope, I've got all the possible ones, but obviously there's an edge piece somewhere in that bag of 1,900 and something or other pieces. So I don't know quite what to do, but I don't want to take this apart because, darn it, it took a while. So the final thing I will say is, if you are intrigued by this, do you need a Christmas present? Because I have some of these with me tonight, and they're available for $20 a piece. I only take cash, but $20, and $10 will go as a donation to the Toronto Centre. So it's a little bit of a fundraising thing, and like I say, I have them with me. If you tap me on the shoulder after the presentation, $20, and you can walk away with one of these of your own, and you can see how you do, and love to hear about it. Maybe we need a YouTube channel and here's my attempt on the puzzle. So it's limited quantities, but like I say, let me know. Donation, it's a DIY project of the rainy night and cloudy sky kind of thing. And that's pretty much it for my presentation.
Thank you very much. We got one question.
Do you supply the kitchen table?
I find that most people have a kitchen table already. In this case, my friend would probably gladly sell you that table for a few $1,000s because it's a fancy live edge table, and there's a whole story to go with that one. Not that particular table. He's probably going to be loath to sell it to you. But IKEA, I mean, there's now one downtown, I understand, as well as a Etobicoke one. And to be honest, though, you need something bigger than a kitchen table. Like, I'm thinking of the old model railwayers, like back in the 50s and 60s, who would take over the entire basement and have some like 10 tables, that's pretty much what you need in my judgment. Okay. That's
All
it.
right.
Thank you very much.
And, yep, that looks like it for questions. So, fun facts, and then we'll go on to our final speaker.